Thanks, Jack. Joining me this morning is Hillsborough County Superintendent Mr. Addison Davis. The referendum placed on the primary ballot last month was for a property tax increase that would have been used to increase teacher pay by as much as $4,000. The vote was close. Only 590 votes made the difference between those who voted against and for the referendum. Now, Mr. Davis, do you feel there is a distrust amongst voters about the way money flows in government? And do you think that is part of the reason the referendum failed? If so, please elaborate.
Yeah, first and foremost, thank you for having me today. I really appreciate it. And, we really gave a really solid effort for 4 months to be able to, penetrate this community and give them factual information related to the millage. The millage was a way for us to properly compensate all of our employees within our school district, and we know, looking at the national crisis with a national teaching shortage, we needed something to set ourselves apart with other counties. When you look at surrounding counties, every surrounding county with Manatee, with Sarasota, with Pinellas and Pasco, they all have this approved millage to address the underpaid teachers and support staff and leaders within education. For us, the early analytics show that we were thousands of votes away from being able to pass it. So getting close to it, there's a celebration, but openly, there needs to be trust continually built in this community. I think from historical systemic, practices have created some angst within our community. And my role and responsibility is to go out and continue to identify what's working, what's not, and what are we doing differently, and just show this community that we are being fiscal responsible every single day. So, the big thing is now we focus on 2024. That's the next time we can go out, and we'll continue to make certain we start today and moving forward to be prepared for a 2-year launch to ensure we get this additional funding for our teachers who work so very hard every day.
Okay, thank you. I've talked to some teachers who feel like they aren't getting the vital resources they need, such as updated computers, software, hardware, stuff like that in their core classes. Do you agree with this? And if so, why do you feel this is?
Right now we have a strategic plan related to technology about upgrading every facet of equipment within our classrooms. Right now we've currently replaced 14,000 Wi-Fi units within our schools and in every one of our facilities in Hillsborough County. We are replacing the infrastructure within our walls to make certain that we have sufficient infrastructure to make certain we have the necessary gigabytes flows for the connectivity. We also, coming in 2.5 years ago, when we transitioned to the pandemic, we only had 28,000 laptops, and today we have over 140,000 laptops. So we are working not only to replace student laptops, but also to replace teacher laptops to make certain that our teachers have the necessary efficient equipment to be successful every single day. We're leveraging federal funds to be able to do that. We're not using general funds in any shape or form, but we're also leveraging capital funds. So you'll see that we've moved from 6-to-1 ratio from technology to a 2-to-1 ratio in our classrooms, and we're going to move to a 1-to-1 by the end of the school year. But with the pandemic and during COVID, we see that the supply-demand chain has really been exacerbated with time frame. So we're trying to get it on the ground as quick as we can. But I encourage any of our teachers that have needs, email me. I will respond, and I'll work diligently to make certain they have the resources to be successful every single day.
Yeah, the pandemic definitely put a lot of downer on things.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, we're trying to get out of it fast.
Yeah. There's a sentiment that teachers are underpaid for the work they do. What do you think about that?
That's absolutely correct. And when you look at it from a national perspective, we put so much focus on professional athletes, on actors, and these are positions that those positions we need within our community to be able to observe and interact with, to demonstrate our passions with. But everyone in our nation has been positive, and in the world has been positively impacted by a teacher in one way, shape, or form. So we've got to reverse. We shouldn't be putting all that money into athletes. We should be professional athletes. We should put that money into individuals who are molding our youth every single day and allow them to accelerate knowledge and allowing our students to find pathways to become full option graduates. Whether they transition to the military, the workforce, or post-secondary education, we have got to double down and start paying educators more. This is why, from those who are registered voters, our community members, we've got to be able to saturate our local legislators and push them to be able to put more money into education and properly fund teachers along the way. I completely agree. I wish I had the funds to be able to double the salary, triple their salary, because I would, but we've got to be able to push more on the legislators to help with that process to have a greater movement.
Yeah, I understand. Would you say the vote against the referendum is meant or can be seen as anti-sentiment towards teachers?
You know what, I don't think it's about teachers. You know, everyone, as I said before, has connection with teachers. They value their time, their efforts, their energies. While we pay teachers $8 a day, they work 12, 13 hours a day. They are relentless to be able to help students along the way, to allow them to be successful. I think what it is that we ask the community to increase their tax at the worst time that you could do it. We have inflation, we're coming off the pandemic, interest rates for homes are going up. Everything we see is skyrocketing, whether it be water bill, whether it be our utility bills, whether it be car values when you're trying to purchase a car. Everything is new build construction. Everything's going up so costly. So an additional tax at this particular time was very hard to do. So I think the big thing we did during the millage is started to educate our community about the need to further support teachers. So this isn't to back the teachers. This is about creating trust and also being able to get the community a place where they can recover and feel empowered after the pandemic and get back to solid ground financially.
Okay, thank you. Why do you think there are currently 1,200 teachers leaving the county, and what will you do to make sure that more teachers are incentivized to come back and work?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that we see that number annually flow. We have to hire 1,200 teachers every single school year. So when you have a school district that has 24,000 employees, you're going to see an influx of individuals coming in and out when you got to serve over 250 schools. The biggest thing is not only we got to focus on compensation, but we've also got to focus on their well-being every single day in the classroom, building the culture where they feel supported, building a culture where they feel valued, giving them the earned autonomy that they need to be able to connect with students, teach content, and leverage the scope and sequence of materials. And I think being able to a place where they come to work every single day and they have a best friend, someone that really they can connect with. And I think just, but between those two areas, financial and then building the climate and culture, I think that will allow us to create systemic change. Also, we have, historically underperforming schools that we've transformed and, moving 28 historical DNF schools to 5. And looking at schools that are persistently low performing historically, we moved those from 39 to 20. I think trying to find proper incentives to incentivize teachers to come to those schools who we need the most. So I think being able to leverage finding time where they can just let their hair down and relax versus having that relentless pursuit every single day, every single hour.
Yeah, I definitely know a few teachers who seem really stressed.
And I'm thankful for what they do every day. This job isn't easy. The days that we used to be able to give a teacher their teacher edition, they transition to the classroom and they teach their content is over. Now it's about addressing students, mental health, addressing the trauma they potentially have been through, connecting with them, make sure that they're connected to either a club, co-curricular, extracurricular activities, and not only developing the whole student, but focusing on developing the whole family. Those are elements that we've got to get better at, and we're going to provide ongoing resources to make sure we wrap our arms around this community every day.
Yeah, the workload of teachers has definitely increased over the past years.
It's hard.
I've read about your proposal for a 4-day school week. Are there any further developments on that?
You know what? It's something that I threw out there because, all the surrounding counties have the millage and we do not. So what can we do to be innovative in that solution? No one in the state of Florida has, embedded this or tried this or implemented this, the 4-day work week. But we see across the nation, so many school districts have championed this initiative. We're in the initial stages of even having the conversation. I think it could potentially work. And let's just think about high school. And high school 4 days. Coming to school, the 5th day could be a entrepreneurship or a workforce development where 15,000 seniors have an opportunity to go to the workforce and do internships, to be able to do apprenticeships potentially, to do volunteer times for their, for any type of scholarships they're trying to accomplish with Bright Futures, but getting into community and developing not only credential skills that they want to follow their passions, but also looking at the soft skills that allow them to be successful. So I think it could work. There's a lot to do, a lot to unpack. Got to engage community, got to engage the workforce to determine whether or not this can happen.
Yeah, it's always nice to get ideas out there, Superintendent Davis, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
I have been Patty Lynn. Jack, back to you in Studio A.